I'm Abby Lindbergh. I lead GelSight's applications engineering team, and with Halloween coming up, I thought we'd take a look at some favorite Halloween candies. So first up, we've got a Kit Kat bar. And I've got our Series 2 system with us right now, and we're going to go ahead and take some scans of different features on different candies. So let's look at some of the text on the Kit Kat bar. I'm just going to press the system, the gel, down onto the text here. Maybe we'll look at this spot right here. And click the button to take the scan. And while that generates, I'll brush some of the chocolate crumbs off my system here. Got a bunch of chocolate on the back. All right, we'll open that up. And the first thing we'll do, let's look at it in 3D. So there's the reconstruction of that part of our Kit Kat bar. And let's take a look at maybe some analysis for fun. Let's look at our pit detection function on the Kit Kat bar here. We can see it picks up the letters Kit in Kit Kat. And we can actually also see there's a little piece of chocolate missing here that makes the I, one part instead of two parts. So the chocolate kind of, the pit coloring flows into that spot from the missing chocolate there. I'll kind of move the highlight so you can see that. All right, so the next piece of candy that I've got here is probably a fan favorite. We've got a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. It can be a little fragile around the edges, but that's what we'll take a look at. I'll put it in front of the camera here. We'll look at kind of some of this texture on the side. And I'll press down onto the edge here. And we'll just click the button to take the scan. All right, great. So once that generates, maybe we'll measure the radius of one of these little ridges around the edge. We'll open that up. And here's that surface in 3D again. You can see some of that chocolate on the edges of those that aren't so smooth. And you can see it kind of taper down off the edge. And for this, I'll zoom in on this area here. And let's look at our pit detection function. 2D tools. Let's look at a radius measurement. So I'll click on our radius tool, and I'll kind of click around this with 3 points. I'll drag it to fit a little bit better. And let's take a measurement there. So we've got about 700 micron for the radius on that edge here on the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. So the next piece of candy that we'll look at is going to be a Snickers. I've already taken it out of the wrapper here too. And what I really wanted to look at is actually the texture on the bottom. It's kind of an interesting texture. So let's take a look at that from the capture page again. So these must be resting on a textured plate or something like that to dry the chocolate with this pattern on it. And I'll press our system down onto that, press the gel into that, like this. And we can see all of that texture. We can also see some porosity there where I'm missing a little bit of chocolate. It's kind of a fun one. And click the button again to take another one. All right, so let's open that one up. And we can look at this surface in 3D as well. So here's the reconstruction of that piece of chocolate. And this one will actually be a fun one to look at with our edges overlay. It's just a filter applied to the surface, but really highlights transitions nicely. So let me show you what that looks like right now. Click edges here. Yeah, we can see that pretty nicely. It really highlights the deeper spots and the shallower spots and the transitions between those grooves there. All right, and then I've got one more piece of candy I wanted to take a look at. We've got last a little bag of Sour Patch Kids. And I've got the best flavor that we're going to take a look at here. We've got the red one. And we'll put that in front of the camera here. Maybe brush a little chocolate off of the top of the gel. And let's look at some of the crystals of this piece of candy. Oh yeah, so this is a pretty soft one. My kitchen's a little warm. So you can see it kind of squish under the camera, which is, I think, pretty cool. But you can really see all of the textures for that sour coating on that Sour Patch Kid. All right, so let's go take a look at some of those. We'll open this first scan up here while the other one finishes loading. And let's zoom in on this a little bit. You can really see that crystal structure. Here we're still in the edges overlay. I'll kind of drop out of that. And you can see really the texture of the crystals, which is kind of an interesting application, especially for GelSight with looking at any material. We can see we've got some transparent crystals and then the red gel. I guess it's also a gel. And we can take a look at that in 3D. There we go. And if we wanted to, we could even use our particle detection algorithm on this to kind of look at the size distribution of some of these crystals here. So let me zoom out a little bit and we'll take a look at what that looks like. Just draw a box in this area here, maybe. Just default settings. We could take a look at the kind of histogram to give us an idea of the distribution based on diameter. So those are the candies that I brought today, but definitely put in the comments or reach out if there are any other ones you want to see. Of course, we'll have some more Halloween candy after Halloween. We can raid the kids' candy buckets. So thanks for watching.